Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we are diving deep into a challenge that pretty much every business faces. I'm talking from your local coffee shop all the way up to the biggest car brands, and that's managing inventory. You get this right, your business just thrives, but get it wrong and you are literally bleeding money. So let's break it down. It all really boils down to this one simple question. How much stuff should you actually have on hand? Think about your own refrigerator at home. If you buy way too much milk, it spoils before you can even drink it, right? That's just wasted money. But on the flip side, if you buy too little, well, you can't have your morning coffee, and that's a whole different kind of problem. Businesses face this exact same dilemma, just on a massive, massive scale. And believe me, getting this balance wrong has some serious consequences. If you're holding way too much inventory, you're tying up precious capital, and you're running the risk of your products becoming totally obsolete. But if you hold too little, you're looking at lost sales and, even worse, angry customers when you just can't deliver. It's this constant financial tug-of-war. So that leads us right into what's often called the inventory Goldilocks problem. See, the goal isn't just to avoid having too much or too little, it's all about finding that perfect sweet spot that is, well, just right for maximizing both profit and efficiency.
This really gets to the core purpose of inventory. It's not just stuff on a shelf, it's a strategic buffer. Think of it like this. It bridges that gap between unpredictable customer demand and your supply chain, and that's what allows the whole business to run smoothly. So holding inventory is really a calculated risk you're taking to guard against all that future uncertainty.
So how in the world do we solve this Goldilocks problem? Well, it all starts by understanding the two fundamental forces that are constantly pulling in opposite directions. You can really think of it as a financial showdown between two competing types of costs. Okay, so the first force we need to talk about is carrying costs. To put it simply, this is the cost of just having stuff sitting on your shelves. The more inventory you hold and the longer you hold it, the more it's going to cost you. It's like a financial penalty for stocking up. And these costs go way beyond just paying rent for a warehouse. It's the money that's tied up that you could have invested somewhere else. It's the insurance you've got to pay in case of damage. And this one's a big one. It's the risk that your products might expire or just go out of style before you ever get a chance to sell them.
Now, the second force, the one pulling in the other direction, is ordering costs. These are the costs you have to pay every single time you place an order, and it doesn't matter how big or small that order is. Think of it as the administrative and logistical fee just for restocking your shelves.
So here are some real-world examples. The salaries for the people in your purchasing department, the shipping fees for the delivery truck, and even the bulk discounts you might be missing out on if you're constantly placing tiny little orders. So here's the crucial point. If you want to lower your ordering costs, you just place fewer, much larger orders. But that would make your carrying costs go up. You see the conflict here?
So how do you find that perfect balance between these two competing costs? Well, luckily for us, there's a model for that. It's designed to find what we call the magic number, and it's known as the economic order quantity, or EOQ for short. All right, let's just walk through a quick thought experiment together. Let's say, to avoid all the hassle and cost of frequent ordering, you decide to place huge orders, but maybe only a couple of times a year. So what happens then?
Well, first, your total ordering costs for the year are going to plummet. You're only processing paperwork and paying for shipping a handful of times, so you save a ton of money on that side of the equation. Sounds great, right?
Well, not so fast. The consequence of doing that is that your warehouse is now packed to the absolute ceiling. Your average inventory level throughout the year is way, way higher, which means your carrying costs, storage, insurance, capital, they're going to skyrocket. You've basically just traded one problem for another. And this brings us right back to that central question. If small orders are super inefficient and large orders are super expensive to hold, where is that perfect sweet spot? Okay, this chart right here shows that trade-off in action. Just look at the total cost for different order sizes. See? With small, frequent orders, your total cost is high. With large, infrequent orders, your total cost is also high. But there's a sweet spot right there in the middle, the optimal order size, or EOQ, where the total cost is at its absolute lowest point. That's the number we're looking for. And that sweet spot, it has a name: the economic order quantity. It's a formula that actually calculates the ideal order size to minimize your total inventory costs. And yeah, it might look a little complex, but it's really just balancing your annual demand, your fixed cost per order, and your cost to carry each unit. It turns all that guesswork into a precise calculation.
Now, the EOQ model is brilliant.
But it kind of assumes a perfect world, one where demand is always constant and deliveries always show up on time. So what happens when we introduce, the chaos of reality? This brings us to our final section, the real-world safety net.
I mean, what happens if a key supplier has a delay? Or maybe your product suddenly goes viral and demand doubles overnight? All of a sudden, those perfect calculations from the EOQ model can get thrown right out the window, leaving you with nothing but empty shelves. The answer is something called safety stock. This is a buffer of extra inventory that you plan for on purpose. It's basically an insurance policy that you hold to protect yourself against the totally unpredictable nature of supply and demand, making sure you don't run out of stock during those unexpected spikes or delays. But of course, this raises another question. How much insurance do you actually need? Because just like your regular inventory, holding safety stock isn't free. It adds to your carrying costs. So we find ourselves in another balancing act, weighing the cost of holding that extra stock against the potential cost of running out completely. This cable here really shows the math. If you hold zero safety stock, you have no holding costs, but the risk of stocking out is super expensive, a total cost of over $125. Now go to the other extreme and hold 100 extra units, your holding costs are high. But look right there in the middle option. 50 units gives you the lowest total cost. That's your optimal safety net. And that's really the crucial takeaway here. Effective inventory management isn't about trying to eliminate risk entirely. That would be impossibly expensive. The goal is to understand the risks, to quantify the costs, and then to make a data-driven decision that minimizes your total costs. It's all about being smart, not just being safe.
So, as we wrap this up, I'm going to leave you with this question to think about. When you look at the shelves in a warehouse or a stockroom, what do you see? Do you see a hidden cost just draining your resources? Or, when it's managed correctly, do you see your greatest asset, ready to meet customer demand and drive your business forward? The answer really lies in the art of the balance.